But what I really appreciate about what you've done in awakening the natural love of the heart here is make Sri Yukteswar a little bit more accessible. Share with us,
Hmm.
yeah, about that, just how
Yeah.
that journey and why the book and where you were trying to step down Sri Yukteswar to maybe a little bit more accessible.
Well, there's two things, of course. In the book, in Autobiography of a Yogi, Yogananda brings him very close to you. He makes him very accessible. I mean, of course, as far as a great sage can be, there's always something like difficult, not difficult, but like intimidating almost in a great sage. There is something peremptory, something very, you can't really, it just, it's a beam of very almost blinding light, and it's there. But the people who read the book are also thirsty for truth, and that is what is vibrates in everything Sri Yukteswar says in the book. Then you start reading, you get curious, and you start reading uh, the sacred, the holy science,
Hmm.
and there, that is not an accessible book for many
That's
reasons. Yeah. So one reason is that he uses a lot of Sanskrit terms, and just like a biologist uses Latin, he doesn't call a lion a lion, but he calls it Leo Panthera. So he uses Latin to describe a species, an animal. So Sri Yukteswar used a lot of Latin, used a lot of Sanskrit, but you have to get through that. You have to look beyond that. And I
hmm
think one of the things that I don't think I have finished writing about the holy science. I think more could come. That's what I feel, at least. But so there are a few more accessible parts. One is the introduction, where Sri Yukteswar describes the yugas.
hmm
And the other one is where he describes the natural love of the heart as being the indispensable ingredient for spiritual growth
hmm
and for to reach freedom and salvation. And then at the end he repeats that. So he's written a book with many difficult things that you need to meditate on. Scripture, you never read scripture like a novel from the beginning to the end.
hmm
You either you open it at random, that's possible, or if you read it from the beginning to the end, you take your time. You read, and then you try to absorb, and you meditate on it, and you take it in your daily life, and you take it in your relationships, and in your job, and you take it with you. So that is possible also with this book. And so if you start with that the need to purify the heart first of all, so that the natural love can awaken. If you start with that, then you have, of course, a marvelous introduction that is accessible for all of us, because all of us know that we need to do that. And something within us knows that that is what we need to do. We don't want to remain stuck in anything smaller or meaner than that. It is a grand thing. A, it is a process of great joy. The heart just rejoices when you start working on yourself to overcome those meannesses, even though it takes effort. Still, you practice introspection, and then the heart just start growing. And love is not just, I love you, you love me. That's not just what love is all about. Love is a power, I feel. And so
hmm
when you do your introspection, as Sri Yukteswar recommends it, and you do your meditation, and you do your visualizations and everything, then I feel that somehow the heart, and this is a mental thing, introspection is a mental thing, but it means looking at what's going on inside your emotional, psychological chemistry, and what's going on in your heart. And you feel that the heart begins to rejoice because it gets free. And then that love manifests, I think, in your life just as a power. People feel loved when you're around them, when they're around you. You become solution oriented. You forget about your smallness.
Mm,
you're just free.
mm.